Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Sahar Assaf. I am the Artistic Director of Golden Thread Productions.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Andrea Assaf, and I am the Artistic Director of Art to Action. Today is September 17th, 2025.
And it's 1:07 p.m. in Palestine, and we are here today with Mustafa Sheta of the Freedom Theatre and Emile Saba of ASHTAR Theatre, and we are recording this conversation for 24 hours for Palestine.
Part 2 to Our Ultimate Freedom, which is streaming September 27th and 28th, 2025.
All right, for those of you who don't know, we're going to tell you a little bit about the theaters that our distinguished guests work with and a little bit about our guests, and then we're going to delve into the conversation. So, Andrea, would you introduce ASHTAR, please?
Yes, it's an honor to introduce ASHTAR Theatre, which was founded in Jerusalem in 1991 by acclaimed actors Iman Aoun and Edward Muelam, currently under the artistic direction of Emile Saba, our guest today, who is a former student at the theater. ASHTAR is Palestine's first theater training program organization for youth and a groundbreaking hub for theater making, having pioneered and promoted the Theater of the Oppressed by Augusta Boal in the entire Arab world. And based in Ramallah, the West Bank, ASHTAR combines professional productions with transformative liberatory training program, equipping young Palestinians with confidence, leadership, critical thinking, and communication skills. Their integrated use of forum theater and liberatorium methodology is a vital tool for dialogue and social change, engaging audiences as active participants in self-liberation and confronting pressing issues. With vast international collaborations in more than 70 countries, summer masterclasses, and touring abroad, flagship projects such as the Gaza Monologues, ASHTAR International Youth Theatre Festival, or the Shakespearean play Richard II, performed for the first time in Arabic at the Globe Theatre in London, for example. ASHTAR continues to preserve and protect Palestinian culture and identity, nurturing creativity, amplifying Palestinian voices, and building bridges across cultures while aiming to strengthen individual and collective cultural resilience. Soon to move to Birzeit with a new project, Performing Arts Village and Academy.
And the Freedom Theatre was established in 2006 in the Jenin refugee camp, occupied Palestine, by the late actor and activist Giuliano Milkhamis. Since then, it has become one of Palestine's most influential cultural centers, staging professional theatre productions, training actors, filmmakers, and photographers, and offering workshops for children and youth workshops in the refugee camp in Jenin town and villages. The theatre has produced acclaimed adaptations and original plays that confront occupation and amplify Palestinian voices, and has also toured internationally. At its heart, the Freedom Theatre carries forward a vision of cultural resistance using art, play, and imagination to nurture generations who can challenge oppression and build towards a liberated Palestinian society.
So we are very honored today to welcome Mustafa and Emile. And our first question to both of you, in the context of everything that is currently happening, is how are you? And what's the current situation where you are right now? How are your theaters doing, for example? How are you doing? Emile, we'd love to invite you to start.
Thank you so much, Andrea and Sahar. It's really a great pleasure to be with you today and with the presence of Mustafa. It's always great to see you. Thank you for the introduction too. Such a hard question to ask and to answer. I've been avoiding asking this question to anyone the past 2 years, and when I do, it's just the answer is just so complicated and at times it's very abstract. We're not well, in short, and I think we will not be that well for a while. But we're surviving, kind of life doesn't stop, unfortunately. And so in the past 2 years and until now, it's been really a dark period of a lot of reflections, a lot of fear, a lot of determination. And that what it comes out of it is just like determination to keep moving and to keep working. And I feel like I'm lucky to be a theater person and a theater maker, even though in the last 2 years, especially at the beginning of the genocide, I really lost hope, and I had all these blocks of no motivation, no creativity, all these questions about what are we doing and is it worth it and where are we heading, especially in theater. It just seemed to me that it's aimless, or it doesn't matter in comparison to what's happening in Gaza. And it really hits you psychologically on many levels, because your life and Gaza and the West Bank, of course, they happen in parallel. So you have to keep moving, you have to act normal, you have to get things done, but at the same time, your mind and spirit is somewhere else. And we're confronted by it every day. Just getting to work sometimes, or most of the time, is a huge task. Performing or traveling to nearby cities has been really difficult, almost impossible in the last year, from all the road blockades and settlers attacks and threats and sieges on cities like Jenin and Tulkarem and Nablus and Bethlehem. So it's really hasn't been easy at all, even though I tried to kind of console myself and just like to kind of keep going, but it is really hard to find the motivation. But at the end of the day, I came back to kind of like my belief that what we're doing is really important, not only to us, but to our community, to the people we serve, to our country, without going to slogans or anything. But on the ground, theater is really essential in such a dire situation. And that's what kind of urges me every day to keep going and to kind of push this kind of darkness away, to find strength in the work we do. Yeah.
Thank you, Emile. I'd like to just add that I think we have all faced this question: is what is the role and importance of theater in times of genocide, in times this dire? And I wish I had the opportunity to participate in and direct several readings of the Gaza monologues last year, and I know Golden Thread Productions also did. And I wish you could have seen and experienced how many people it reached and how moving it was for people, and how the theater work that you're doing has shifted the conversation and people's level of understanding, based on the stories that you gave the world access to. The Gaza monologues had an incredible impact here in the United States, and I'm sure across the world. And we are grateful for you continuing the work despite everything. Sahar?
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm dreading asking this question to you, Mustafa, the how are you question, because I agree with Emile. It's been extremely difficult. But I also want to say, Alhamdulillah Salame, Mustafa, you've been arrested on December 13, for those of our audiences who didn't know or don't know, December 13, 2023. So immediately after the genocide, and then stayed in captivity until March of 30th, 2025, is that correct? So over a year and a half, unjust, violent detention. What can you share about this experience? I mean, I want to give you the floor to share everything and anything.
I like what Emile answered. That's like long answer about how I go. And I use that words come from the important and famous artist from Lebanon, Ziad Rahbani. And he used that when he asked him, how are you? And he said, hey, don't ask me this question because it's open about my bad feelings about the situation. And that's sometimes we need to maybe to use another question to understand how we are really continue as a human here in this land. In fact, I am one of these people already. We are faced this occupation, this ugly occupation in my country. They arrested me, not just alone. They arrested a lot of people without any reason. They just put them in very bad and hard condition in the Israel jail. The important for me to put highlight for that state, they put a big highlight about their democracy, about what they did as a European country, that they use this model. But to be honest, what we faced, that's what we don't hear it in the dictator and with the Arab regime sometime about what they did with us as a prisoner. Sometimes I heard some words from them when we woke up in the morning. They said, "Hey, you are lucky because you are continuing. You are lucky because you have another day in the jail." So, I mean, the situation was really bad. I was back before the prison. I was here in Jenin, and we faced a lot of problems before the war and before the genocide in Gaza, before the situation before 7th of October. And here in Jenin, we faced a lot of problems. Every day they have attacked. Day by day, we faced the invasion, arrested, attacked, killed people, arrested a lot of people in the morning, in the night, every day, all the days. So the situation before 7th of October already was hard for us. I remember when we had the Feminist Theatre Festival, our Feminist Theatre Festival in Jenin refugee camp, with Salwan Kara, she's an artist from Haifa. In the middle of the show, they attacked us and they cut all the electricity. And we have a lot of people inside the stage, audience, the kids, and all of us scared because that's action. And we don't know what we can do. And it was our mission. It's not just to make theater. In fact, that's time. Our mission to protect the people and to keep them and to continue as a place considered between quotation as a safe space in this area, but unfortunately, all of that collapsed. So the idea before 7th of October and what happened after 7th of October, we talk about a clear face. We can say we can look for what Israel is Israel. I mean, with the artists, with the people, with normal people, with the political, with all the people. What's happened after 7th of October? They discover their real face for all the people, especially for the Palestinian. So from 7th of October in Jenin and to 13th of December, because that's my time in that year, in 2023, we really faced a lot of aggressive policies against everything, including us as a people working theater in Jenin refugee camp. And we consider, we aren't safe. Because we are theater maker, that means we are not involved. They don't consider us, between quotation, part of any security problem there. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. They attacked us in the morning. They surround us. I remember when I was with my colleagues in November 2023, we spent 16 hours inside the office and we can't move. We can't move to return to our family, or we can't do anything in that day. Later, on 13th of December, when they arrested me, I really surprised and shocked because why you arrested me? What's the reason? And there is no reason. There's no clear reason for that. But they arrested all the activists in my area, and I was one of the people they arrested me because that's reason. So, and I surprised and shocked, but for their behavior and their policies against all the prisoners inside the jail. Whereas already I really was subjected psychological and physical torture, and there is a little of everything, a little of food, water, there is no medicine, no treatment. In fact, and the day by day, they use that. The install, the bad words, it's come to destroy your human dignity. They need from you to think, to rethink about your Palestinian. Why I am Palestinian? Why I'm here? Why I am be as a human to live in this country? Why I am be in this area? But sometimes that's dark situation. Sometimes give you some lights here or there and some jokes. Sometimes because I am as theater maker in the jail, the prisoners, they ask me, "Do you think that will be good play? Can you write some good script about this situation when they attacked us? For example, they hit us." They ask me, "That's good for the script. You can," and they try to be like theater maker and to make some scenario. You can, when they open the door, you can image that we are scared and they attacked us and in the morning, and we are woke up and we are really scared and fear. And we can write that and imaging that in the theater, especially the people they know me before from Geneva refugee camp, and they ask. There is a lot of discussion and dialogue about the situation. I mean, my title in the jail in this dark situation, it's give some time, some good conversation about if we can mix theater here in the jail. Some of them they try to be like an audition to make some rule, and he said, "How you think I can be good actor?" And some of them they saying something like, as I am like a person who's a specialist in arts and culture, and I need to tell, yeah, you can come to the theater when after our arrest, and where we can work together. And that's really give me hope. In fact, that's not destroy me. I mean, when in this dark time, that give me real great power to return to make real good work and to rethink about my people. And I all the time think about this link and the bridge between the theater work and the theater action and our people. How we can really represent the narrative, the real narrative from our people. And I am not artist, not like you guys, because you are, especially
you are.
I am close to be like close to activism and to be like an activist and in the ground as in all my life working with the people in the ground. I mean, so I think how really can really make not just to be share the stories from our people. No, not just that. We can be really to be like a tools, social tools for between the people have to talk and description and expression. And I think that's really important. Maybe mission for our work, especially for all the Palestinian theater in Palestine, in West Bank and Gaza. Yes, we are now faced genocide. We faced invasion, attack. Now we are faced something like destroy the Palestinian identity from the roots. They try to do all of that action against us. We are now in Jenin, for example, it's under direct, crazy military occupation. They are exploded all the people from Jenin refugee camp. They already kidnapped our theater in the middle of Jenin refugee camp. They don't allow for us to be there. And it's risky not to be there to bring some equipment for us. We are now in the Jenin Center it's the Center for the Freedom Theater in Jenin City, a small one, but I changed it to be like with my team to be like important cultural hall for all the people. Before days, we already host a play from Ramallah, from Al Qasaba Theater, and we prepare to host another theater to be theaters to be with us. Next Saturday, already we have screening film. Now we have tour in West Bank. It's called Shada Triangle. It will be now in tour. Yesterday was in Ramallah, today in Bethlehem, and we continue in different cities. Today, my team traveled to Portugal for 16 years old. The stories from the kids, and they are between 15, 16 years old. They are from our training program for the young people. That traveled to Portugal to show the people their feelings, not just what's happened exactly. All the people know the news. No one can hit himself and he said, I don't know what's happened in Palestine. No, all of the people know what's going on in Palestine, but you don't know how we feel, how the boys and the girls and the young people, they grow up with this trauma, and how you expect from them to expression and to talk and to be part as a normal person in this society and in the world. Sometimes we need to focus on this. We are part of the world, and we are, I think we are part of in the world and in very important area. Whereas sometimes no one care about us, no one recognize us, no one listen to us. When we raise our voice, sometimes we be aggressive and we be angry because really from the people to we need to shock the people to know what's going on here, because that's important. And we are lucky, as what Emile said. We are, because we are working theater and we have that experience to her and to make this comparative between our case and another cases in the world. We are sometimes, we think really that will be great opportunity to build that great network of the people that are believe in a free world. I mean, this subject, this case in Palestine, it's not just for Palestinian, it's for all the people that are looking really for the free world. That's really to destroy this oppressing in here in Palestine, that to destroy, to broke this imperialism in the that try to control the poor people. So we are comrades with the people in Asia, in Africa, in South, in with the black people in America, with the Latin people in America, with the South America too, the poor people in the middle of Europe. We are, all of us, we are part of one movement, to brave movement to destroy this colonialism against us, again, try to destroy us. So that's how we are. We are that.
Mustafa, there's so much power in your voice, and as I was saying before we began the session, us witnessing this genocide from outside, there's so much power that we feed on from the Palestinian people in Palestine, under the occupation, under the bombs. It's just it makes me speechless to hear you speak, and with this spirit that cannot be defeated. I think that's what the Palestinian people have shown the world, that they cannot be defeated. And you're right, it is at the center of all our social justice causes. There's so much to talk about. I also want to highlight the feeling, like the relief moments you gave other detainees, or I should say kidnapped people in the Israeli prison, and how amazing that is, that theater in the most dire situation can come to the rescue sometimes. I want to turn it to Andrea, and I'm sure there are many questions that will come up.
Yes, thank you so much, Mustafa. There's so much to reflect on and say. One of the things you mentioned was about trauma and storytelling, and how theater has a unique capacity to express the human experience of what's happening beyond news headlines. And so I'm going to turn to Emile with a question that is rather related to that, especially around the question of hope and what is the role of theater in keeping the flame of hope even possible as people are going through these times. So Emile, ASHTAR Theatre has been running workshops for children and youth across the West Bank, Jerusalem and Gaza, and creating spaces for young people where they can feel safe and strong and sometimes feel heard for the first time. And we wanted to ask about how you see this work shaping the future of Palestinian theater and more broadly community resilience and the resilience of the Palestinian people in the face of everything that's happening. And we were wondering if the mission has changed at all since the genocide began after October 7th, and what your understanding is now of theater in this context of survival and resistance.
Yeah, sure. I just want to salute Mustafa. You're a great inspiration. Thank you so much for this burst of energy, and for all your work and the Freedom Theater. It's even though we are in the same West Bank, but it's very different in Jenin, and just making theater there. Like, it's hard in Ramallah, despite everything seems more comfortable on the surface, so I can imagine how is it there. Also, Mustafa touched on this, on the trauma thing, because it's in the essence of our culture. Unfortunately, we carry this generational trauma with us. and we're not giving any time to process it. And I feel that art in general and theater in specific is kind of the only space for us in a collective sphere to kind of process this trauma a little bit, at least to put it out there, share it. And that's what we've been doing, especially from the beginning of the genocide. But it's not something new to us. As you mentioned in the introduction, we've been a school for youth and for kids. And part of our pedagogy is trauma release and trying to understand ourselves within this surrounding that we're in, and how can we be active agents in changing our reality, at least being aware of what's happening politically, socially, internally. So from the beginning of the war, as a team, and I'm saying we because I'm not alone, and I'm really lucky to have the team I have here at ASHTAR. We were in shock, and we were, as I said, like kind of feeling we need support. We need psychological support before we go and work with anyone. But it was clear to us that our mission is to create these spaces in schools, in community centers, with youth, with women, men. We worked with workers from Gaza who were expelled from 48 to Ramallah and the West Bank, and different kind of groups, because we saw the need that people need to be collectively together, because the impact of this genocide is deeper than even what we see on TV. It just made us feel shattered and disconnected and in denial somehow. So our work focused on psychosocial interventions through theater. We are working in refugee camps and in schools in Gaza and in the West Bank. Our Gaza monologues team, who wrote the monologues, the ones that are left, about 12 trainers, they are still in Gaza. So we've been in support and in collaboration with them to do as much as they can with their community. And it's just very heartwarming, and it always leaves me speechless to their strength and what they do. And just to see the kids being grouped and doing drama is just beyond humane. And the same thing here in the West Bank, like our team of trainers, we worked with them on their own kind of psychological shielding, kind of giving them tools to protect themselves when they go and work in refugee camps and UNRWA schools, especially UNRWA because of what's been happening to it. So we thought that, okay, we want to support its programs and their students in their schools in Amari, in Kalandia, in Birzej, Jalazon, all these refugee camps. So we've been very diligent in continuing working on these kind of interventions during class or after school. And that was our main aim, and still is. And also through theater as art for the sake of art. Like during the war in 2023, we partnered with Ismail Khalidi and Naomi Wallace. We had this idea and this urge to create, because as I said, I was very lost and feeling hopeless, and I turned to the Canaanite mythology. And I was reading in it, and I really got inspired from the myth of Baal, and the cycle of Baal, his death and the rebirth, and how Anat, the goddess of war and love, who's also in some variations is Ashtar, and became Aphrodite and became Inanna and other cultures, that she did not give up after his death. She went to the underworld. She found his body. She brought it back. And she burnt it. She cooked it. She spread it around. She did actions with it. And I was like reading into it and kind of interpreting does it mean? And it clicked to me that is work, that is creation. It's moving forward. It's not like stopping at death. It's actually conquering death with life. And that what kind of gave me that seed of hope of that, like, no, we have a purpose here and I'm here. I'm not immigrating. I'm not leaving the country. I'm staying. So I better work. And so I, sorry for my French. So creating is the power to defeat all of this death around us. And I noticed that very strongly when we did Guernica, Gaza in the summer of 2023. Gaza was being bombed. A lot of people told us, like, it's not the time to make theater now. Wait until it finishes so you can reflect and see what's happening. But the urge to create and to just create this space, and I think it was a wise decision, because for over like 3 months, we created this safe space to the whole artistic team and to the actors and everyone involved, from illustrators to writers to technicians, to have something to do and to put all this anger and all this hope also in something creative, to create something, a product. And when we had the shows, we were really amazed that we had like 8 shows back to back here in ASHTAR, and they were full house during the bombing, and people were coming and filling up the space, and we talked to the audience after, and it was very overwhelming positive feedback, not only about the show itself, because it was the first show that I make that I don't feel anything after it. Like there was no clapping, because people, especially at the first few shows, because people didn't know how to react. Like, we're watching something about Gaza. It's a philosophical kind of take on the situation. We want to give hope to the people, kind of some kind of resilience, that even though that we are scattered or being torn apart, that we can bring our pieces together despite our differences. There is a character of a resistant fighter in the play. There is a character of a boy who stitches animal parts to human parts, because he found out that magically they grow together. If you put like a duck leg on a horse, it becomes something, the limb grows. So the feedback from the audience was that they needed this space to be together after it was like 7 months or 11 months of just war and destruction. So they cried together, and they felt that they can share this experience in one space. And there is someone or something, which is this theater, that kind of like articulates their feelings in a poetic way, puts it in action, puts it in visuals. So that was very powerful to us, and kind of like gave me back the strength about what we can do with art. And when I see it also in the groups that we work with, the children, just giving them this an hour and a half a week to ventilate, to talk, to express themselves, to play a little bit, to act, to draw or to write. And it leaves a great impact on them, because we're losing these spaces, even in schools, at home. Refugee camps, especially refugee camps, are being invaded every day. So imagine the trauma that's happened to these kids, just waking up on gas bombs every day. Their relatives are being arrested and martyred, and their schools are being attacked. And so it's not a normal life to live. And we're not claiming that we're superpowers and we're doing everything and we're covering everything. No, we're not. We're just doing like a little piece. But at least from what I see is that artists in Palestine in general, they have a greater role and they feel a greater responsibility than just making art for the sake of art or for themselves. We have this like activist hat, we have this educator hat, we have this mentor hat, social worker, it's kind of like an octopus all the time. And it's needed. And I don't think we can escape it as long as we're here.
Thank you so much for those very powerful examples. We could see it. I'm familiar with the script of Guernica Gaza and could see it as you were speaking. Thank you for those examples. Sahar.
Yes, thank you, Emile, for all the examples and for shedding light on this simple yet very profound idea of creativity in those times, and how going on is in itself like an act of creativity. That's why I was like, Mustafa, you are an artist because of how you're choosing to go on. It's not to be taken for granted, at least from this perspective, from us watching what you guys are doing. And I want to also give you the chance to talk about what's happening at the Freedom Theatre. We know that your building does not exist anymore. Maybe it's destroyed. Please clarify on that. And but you're continuing to do workshops and performances elsewhere, like you simply moved to a different location to continue the mission of the theater. So how are you sustaining theater making in these conditions? And also maybe give examples about performances you're doing and workshops and other examples that are being used as a tool of resilience, mobilization, or even healing, if we can begin to talk about healing right now.
Yeah. Thank you again. In fact, I just want to explain something. We are before this problem or the situation now we are living it in this time. Already we are faced different kind of occupations. It's not just the Israel occupation. There's different difficulties and challenges. The Palestinian Authority policies is one of the problems and challenges. The traditionals and habits and the stereotype about the work, it's one of the, the key persons like the religious, that sometimes we face some challenges with our work to reach for people. And that sometimes put in our face to make some real social change within our society. Before answering the question, that's important to inform you that already the Freedom Theatre passed through different kind of shock. We start, in fact, in 2000, before 2006 already, the idea grow with the Jewish woman Arna Mir Khamis when she came to Jenin. And as a Zionist woman, she changed her opinion to stand with the Palestinian rights after what she discovered about the Palestinian rights. And later, her son Giuliano, when he joined to her mother, and the first play was in the middle of Jenin refugee camp before the Freedom Theatre in the Stone Theatre. It's the name of the play, The Little Lantern, and it was written by Ghassan Kanafani. And all the actors, the male actors, now they are martyrs. All of them, they are killed by Israel. Yusuf Swetat, Ashraf Abu Al-Heja, and Dawood Zbedi, all of them killed in different time. But now this team, they are disappeared. Later, after that, when we established the Freedom Theatre itself, and the first play was with the Freedom Theatre Animal Farm, it's taught by George Oil, and to talk about the situation, about the security coordination between the Palestinian Authority and Israel in that time, and about the relationship between the occupation and the occupier, and how that's work, how we can look for that, and how we can accept that, and who asked us, in fact, as a Palestinian. Maybe the Freedom Theatre come to put this question beside all the theatre about who asked the Palestinian, what the Palestinian want, what we need, what the kind of resistance we need, what the kind of negotiation we need. That's question sometimes it's shocked we can say the main key persons, the main key parties in our society, and the occupation and the authorities. The whole authorities, we can say. The first shock by killing Giuliano in the front of the Freedom Theatre, it was really big shock, and it was like slapped in our face in that time in 2011. And we don't know, and that's one of the many important issue. Until this time, we don't know who killed Giuliano. Israel, they don't know who killed Giuliano. Palestinian Authority don't know. That means any person, he went to occupy this position, he's under real threat by a person. I don't know who is this person or who is this part who want to kill the person he want to work in this position. So that's, in fact, we can say one of the main problems we faced before the invasion and from the occupation. Now we can say our theater, our building, our headquarters in the camp, it's kidnapped by Israeli and by the military force. They now occupied all the Genocide refugee camp. As what I mentioned, they already exploded all the people, including the Freedom Theater. And we are not unique to allow for us to stay. We are part of our people. And so because we are part of that and we're proud of that, they take off us, cleansing all of the people from Genocide refugee camp. And it's one of the policies, in fact, they want to change we can say the design of the camp itself to make it something new. They will change this design to change the natural of Genocide refugee camp, to change their political identity as a refugee. And now, the refugee themselves, they are now take off from the Genocide refugee camp. They have a new title. They are displaced people. I mean, they have two titles now. They are refugee already from their original homeland, and now they are displaced people. They are not live in their small and really not that great houses in the camp. It's small houses, whereas it's in narrow roads. There is no privacy. It's not that great space in general, but for them it's mean a lot. So we don't have a space. We don't have our theater. We don't have that a small theater in Genocide refugee camp, but we don't have to choose, in fact. Yes, it's really hard. It's a really harsh condition, but we don't have to choose. We need to continue. So it's yes, in the beginning we can say we are work to survive. Yeah, we need to say we are the Freedom Theater. We continue. We don't care. Yeah, we are strong. But for me, it's more than this, because I consider already the Freedom Theater is not just cultural organization here in Jenin or in any area. It's, for me, it's like political and social and cultural movement, because all the ideas already we talk about it and raise it. It's not just titles. We need to for us. It's like a practical action. We did it daily here when we talk, when we share, when we work in different area. So when we don't have a space, the idea how we can continue. And before that, because sometimes we have a problem to bring the audience to the theater, and that's in our philosophy before. We have this idea: if you don't want to come to the theater will come to you. So we use that idea to make like that, depend on the street theater and the playback theater. We try to reach for different area to make our theater action. So we use this idea and this methodology to make our interactive activities with the kids, especially for the refugee. They are now displaced people in their different area. So to do some interactive activities for the kids and work with them. It's not just to healing. It's not just we're not just to feel good. We think it's really important space just to feel we are stand with each other. We provide a space to listen to each other. Where, as what I mentioned, there is no one listen to us. Come on, we can listen to each other. We can share our stories. We can talk with each other about what we think, about our dreams, about our hopes. So we try to do all these exercises and these trainings in whole Jenin area, in Jordan Valley too. And this is what in that area we try to work with that. Especially we focus with two people, with two groups, kids and women. For me, and I am now considered as a feminist person, it's about women. I believe, in fact, women make a change. Really, if we need to look for big change in our society, we need to work with women. The women can make real change. They can face the men and the men mentality in the society. And if that's a change, that means everything is changed. So we work with women. And we have a project, in fact, focused to work with women From long time, we think that a woman as an idea, not just as a woman as a girl. It is really important, and we need to continue that work. And now we have worked with them. We make like exercise, women for women activities and exercise, and we try to we can say to push and encourage them to make some real artistic action. We don't talk about artists, actors, or people already they get training in the theater school or academy. No, we talk about normal women in their houses. How we can together make some important action. How we can use the theater tools to be inside the houses and the homes. That's what we work with our people in this time. That's out of the place. That's like outreach activities. We did it with the people inside the theater, inside our center. Now we have our theater group. Students in our and we work with in different level. For example, we work with Arab American University with their students to establish that like a theater team in there and group, and they participate in the the University Theater Festival, and we are lucky because they are winning the first award with a play with our graduate student Mu'tasim Abu Hassan. It's called The Treat, and it was nice to play, and it's get like really acceptable from the committee judgment community, and they get the first award, and that's great for us. In the beginning, in fact, that's one of the main activities. And beside that, our productions, we are proud of our productions because in end of June, in fact, the Freedom Theater participated in Zoukak Festival with Return to Palestine with Micaela Miranda. She's our director from Portugal. And they get really great appreciation from different parties in the UK. And it was performed in London. And they get 5 stars in the Gardens, and that's important, And that's one of our plays. Besides that, we try to do something here in the production house in the Engineering, where we have the first trying, in fact, it's like artistic project, small one. It's called Voices from Love and War. And this script and this idea, it's how we can look for the opposite subjects, love, war, how we can look for that. And here we talk about the relationship between girl and man, girl and the man from Jenin refugee camp and the girl from Fort, and how we can link to each other, how we can contact, and we talk about their dreams and their hopes, and we focus about how those people, how those parties looking for each other. This was the first one. The second one, and that's we did it here. It's 15, 16 years old. The stories of children, they what we call it, not grow up. They are, and in fact, this story, it's about how the kids, how the young people in the camp talk about their friends. They are killed by Israel army, and in that age, between 15 to 16 years old, and about what the hopes already that they are lose, the dreams, how they are talking about something together, about their joint stories and their joint interests, and everything that collapsed, and about the hope too, about the hope. Beside that, we are in the procedures. Beside that, we have now tour with Shada Yassin, and she is now in the tour in West Bank, Shada Triangle. It's moved in different area in West Bank. Now we are in production time for Plus Before Breath. It's a play, which will be play, or we can say performing arts production with Ranin Audi, one of our graduate students and one of our coordinator too. Like a Dream with Mu'min Saadi. Those will work on it. In fact, we have a script, and that will be great script. I like to share that with you too. It's called Martyrs Return to Ramallah. Martyrs Return to Ramallah. And it's hosted by Walid Dakka. And Walid Dakka, for me, he's a really important person. He prisoner. I don't know what I can say. He's killed by Israel when he was in the jail. I mean, he had 2 titles: is prisoner and he martyrs. Martyrs. I mean, he had two.
Yeah.
This time, his body arrested by them until this time inside the Israel jail, and he wrote this script for us. He sent it to us, and we contact with him before, and this play we work on it, and I think that will be great script and great production. We will work on it inshallah in 2026.
That's so exciting.
In fact, we are proud of our graduate students and our actors. Recently, in fact, really we can say that in Arabic. We said we raise our head because Mu'taz Malhis, he was participate in Voice of Hind Rajab, a Tunisian film, and we are proud of Mu'taz and his participation. Our another great actors like Nabil Rai, Ahmed Toubasi, Mu'min Swetat, Iyad Horani,
Ala Shhadi,
Abu Khalid. Wait.
Oh, you're coming.
Khalid, Mu'tasim Abu Hassan, Shada Yassin, they are participate in Palestine 36. And this Palestinian film will participate in Oscar competition. And we are proud because really we think that's really important. Ala Ashhadi, you mentioned for Ala, and Ala is for me is really my favorite actor. In fact, Ala is now his great play is talk about Horse of Jenin, and he moved with the Horse of Jenin. And the Horse of Jenin, it's really, we can say it's like silly action. Israel they kidnapped this horse. It's something really crazy.
Statue of a horse.
Kidnapped the horse. It's from the entrance of Jenin refugee camp, and Ala, he did this really crazy
Beautiful piece.
about this issue.
Yeah, I want to say that it's touring in the U.S. next year, coming to San Francisco as part of a collaboration between Golden Thread and Art to Action.
This present, it's really part of our cultural battle for life and freedom. I mean, it's not just about building, and we can do this work in the street. We can do that in the schools. We can do that in the top of the building. We can make that action by different ways. I mean, when we try to, as if we look for our tools as really represent something related with our daily issues, we can do that by any way. I mean, yes, we faced a lot of problems, but that's created from us the great action, and we like to show that to you.
And it's very clear and it's very obvious, and it's so inspiring to just hear you talk about all the things you're doing around the clock and in all areas and in many different forums. And I also want to thank you for the summary of the history of the Freedom Theatre, and I want to encourage people to go and look for a documentary film titled Arna's Children. Thank you for mentioning Arna, your founder, in fact, or one of your founders, but her efforts led to the creation of the Freedom Theatre, and a beautiful film and story about this Jewish woman who came to Palestine and decided to fight for the Palestinian cause and the Palestinian liberation. Thank you so much, Mustafa. I know there are so many follow-up questions, but I know our time is limited, and I want to turn back to Andrea for a final question to both.
Well, we have only a few more minutes, and we clearly could.
I was wondering whether we want to extend it a little bit, because we make the rules and we can break them.
True, but we don't want to miss the opportunity while we have a global audience to ask you how people can support the work that you're doing. What is it that you really need us to know about how to engage and how to support both ASHTAR and Freedom Theatre and the work that's happening in Palestine, both on the ground, both as artists and also activists, because we've been talking so much about that relationship of art and activism, which of course is inseparable in times like these. So yes, please tell us, how can people get involved and what can we do?
I would say that I'm inviting everyone to join us, not just to support, but to be with us on this journey, in this battle for change, for liberation, for resilience. Briefly, I would just mention that we have a big project, which is the Performing Arts Village, we're partners with circus, the Palestinian circus, and other local institutions to create this academy that combines multidisciplinary arts, theater, and music, and circus. And we will be giving a 2-year diploma for students that will become trainers or performers. So this is a huge project that we're working on, and we're in the renovation phase now. And it's an invite for everyone to join us. There's so much to do. And of course, in our programs, we have a link on global giving that supports our programs that people can visit. Also, our social platforms on Instagram and Facebook are very active, and we have a lot of campaigns and ways of guiding people to how they can participate in this with us. So yeah, and of course, when we tour and go places, we always love to see our audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mustafa?
In fact, in the beginning, I need from the people in this world to understand it's here, what's going on here in Palestine. It's not conflict between two similar parties. It's colonialism. It's here we face the colonialism. It's more than what you image about the occupation. It's more than this, and that's all. It's like continuous trying to cleansing our memories and our identity, to delete and cancel the topic of Palestine from the roots. That's really important from you to stand with us. We are not just numbers. We are not just a line in the news, breaking news, killing Palestinian, destroy them. No, it's real. It's we are human, and we have dreams, we have families, and we have culture, we have real life here, and that all of that we are feel it will be disappear. Maybe it's not. If that's not happening now, it will come. It will come. Please stand with us, because that's really important. And when we continue in arts, in education, in the theater, in the media, it's kind of we can say of defense of ourselves. Just to be like a normal. We don't ask about something more. We just need to be normal human, live here in this area. What we need from you, we need from you to raise your brave voice in this time to talk about us. We need from the artists to make theater and cinema and music for Palestine. We need from them to make something to reform or to react about what's going here in Palestine. Not this kind of solidarity. I look for that just beside what's going on in the ground with the demonstration. That's important, but what we need, it's really more than this. From the people, there are things that we have the right to in our case. So we need from them to raise their voice against the genocide and against the occupation. We need from them to make a big pressure in their government and their institutes. That's still until this time. There's a lot of organization. They have this relationship with Israel. They must to cut this and to stop that support policies policy to kill the Palestinian. We need from you beside all of that, we need from you to support our initiative, our cultural initiative from the Freedom Theatre, from ASHTAR Theatre, because that's really important. Because depending on that, we really create a space for we can say for life and for creative amid of the death. The important issue you must know, until this time we face the conditional funding. Until this time, that political conditional funding, that until this time they put the label that if we are Palestinian, we are like terrorists. If we are stand with Palestinian, if we are talking about Palestinian identity, we are till this time we don't get fund, for example, from the important organization because they consider us, we work as terrorist action in Palestine. Just because we work in theater, just because we are working in civil action, not just the theater and cultural organization. It's against all the non-government organization without any reason, just because they want to make up for this ugly occupation here in our ground. We need from all of them to join to the solidarity campaign to organize their we can say their activities and their event. And look, again, invite the theater makers, invite the artists, invite the people talk in cultural side and in civil side to talk with you, to share with you, and to give you the reality from the ground. We not just bring the reality, just bring the reality to your community and stand with the Palestine, because it deserve to stand with it. And thank you very much for this platform.
Thank you, Mustafa. I would say stand with Palestine is standing with our humanity. So really, we're not doing the Palestinian people any favor by raising our voice against what's happening. And I'll use your words to just say that every small action will help. Every status, every word, every voice will help the movement. And it's a movement towards our joint humanity. There are no words to thank you and to appreciate you and to support you and to say that we hear you and we feel you and we see you. And I hope that one day we will unite in Palestine, in a free Palestine, and we'll celebrate.
Palestine will be free.
Absolutely. There is no doubt in our minds that Palestine will be free. It's inevitable. Our victory is inevitable.
Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us and for all the work that you do in the world, in your communities, and the reverberation that it's having throughout the world, and for being part of 24 Hours for Palestine. It's really an honor to have you, and as they say, you all, Palestinians and Palestinian artists particularly, are teaching life to the rest of us, and we are grateful, and thank you for those calls to action about how to support. I hope that everyone out there listening will get online and send support in all the ways that you mentioned, both today and until Palestine is free. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Sahar. Thank you for the work you're doing and for having us today. It was a real pleasure.
Our absolute honor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The stream will continue 24 hours for Palestine. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.